We're so excited to bring this forum to you today, and we're just hoping that you will hear something and learn something that will keep you as an informed voter as you go to the polls. And I'd like to introduce my co-host, my fellow co-host, Charlene Turner Johnson.
Well, hello everyone. I am so excited to be here with the Mayoral Candidates Forum. I am representing BASE Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization in Highland Park. And BASE is in partnership with a statewide organization that is promoting democracy in Michigan communities of color. And that organization is Defending Democracy Action Working Network. So we are here to introduce and to share with you issues that Highland Park is facing through the eyes and through the opinions of the candidates for mayor in the city of Highland Park. We would like to share information and help residents understand the issues that we have been facing. This has been an unprecedented election season with so many challenges to our residents. There's been a lot of confusion. There have been a lot of questions that need to be answered about who the candidates are and what their issues are and what they're standing for. So we're sharing tonight the mayoral candidates and the issues of the city of Highland Park. I would like to introduce our candidates and then give some guidelines that the candidates will follow as we ask questions this evening. The candidates are seated in alphabetical order by their last name, and they will be given questions in that order, alphabetical order, by their last name. So the first candidate I'd like to introduce is Carlton Clyburn. The next candidate I'd like to introduce is Emmanuel Hunley. The next candidate I'd like to introduce is Glenda McDonald. And the final candidate is Maurice Turner. So we have developed questions for these candidates in 5 categories. Those categories are financial management, community development, city services, government relations, and sustainability. And we hope to get through all of the questions tonight in 1 hour. So each candidate will have an opportunity to answer each question, and each candidate will have an opportunity to give the first answer, and as one of them said, also the last answer. So if a candidate exceeds the 2-minute time limit on their answer, they have indicated that they would like to skip answering the following question because they need more time on that question. Okay. Ms. McDade and I will alternate asking the questions. And we want to start out with giving each candidate an opportunity to tell us in 2 minutes, who are you? What is your current job? Why are you running for the office of mayor? And what do you seek to accomplish in this position? Who are you? What is your current job? Why are you running for the office of mayor? And what do you seek to accomplish in that position? And we will start with Carlton Clyburn.
All right. Greetings and good evening. Again, my name is Carlton Clyburn Jr., and I'm currently the City Council President, and I'm also the Mayor Pro Tem. I'm a 4th-generation Highland Parker, so that makes me Highland Park strong and Highland Park proud. I've been serving the community since the early 2000s in different capacities. I've served on the boards of Wayne Metro Community Action Agency. I've served on the board for my brother's keeper, in which I was a founding member and a president, George Washington Carver Academy, the Highland Park Jets, was the youth football and cheer team, where I served as a coach and the secretary. The Silverback Academy, which is the youth wrestling program, where I was the vice president and program coordinator. I also served on the board for the Highland Park Business Association. This job is very important. I built up to it. the things I've been doing in the community as far as serving led me to this. There was a disconnect between the people and the city government, and I seek to fill that void. I'm a write-in candidate, and I'm asking for your vote so I can lead this city to a better direction where we can grow and improve the quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clyburn. Mr. Hunley?
Yes, how you doing? My name is Emmanuel Hunley, and I'm been brought up in Holland Park from the 3rd grade all the way up to high school. I went to Liberty Elementary School and Henry Ford Middle School, and home of the Polar Bears back in '77. Also, I started in Fourm, Holland Park 100, me and Roger Williams, and we increased the violence in the community. We walked the community, and we also challenged everybody authority that wasn't doing the community a better idea or functioning right. We made sure we gave out Christmas gifts to the senior citizens. We gave out bikes to the kids that didn't have a bikes. We made sure we walked kids to school that was being bullied on, and etc. I also worked on the Holland Park Police Department force too. And I also did a lot of community services in the community for the city of Holland Park. I graduated from Holland Park High School. My parents brought me up in Holland Park from the 3rd grade on up. I've been in this community for a very long time, and I'm a write-in candidate for the city of Holland Park. And I'm looking for your vote to challenge and make sure that this city is run productively and make sure this city is bringing back its roots, the city of trees and also the city of the polar bears.
Thank you, Mr. Hunley. Ms. McDonald?
Can you repeat that question one time?
Yes, the question is, tell us in 2 minutes who you are, what is your current job, why are you running for the office of mayor, and what do you seek to accomplish in that position?
Okay, thank you. First, I'm Glenda McDonald. I'm the councilwoman for the 1st District in Highland Park. I've also served as the council president pro tem for 4 years prior. I also ran for mayor in 2019, and so at this point now, I am also an educator. I am the CEO of the McDonald Phelps Foundation and a council person. So I have 3 jobs at one time right now. I have served this community for 30 years as an educator. Then I left to move to Detroit for the last 2 years. So over the 30 years, I've served as the president of the Highland Park Board of Education. I've served on the Charter Commission. And I am running for this position because I know that I have the passion and the integrity to turn this city around. It is important that we start moving this city forward and having it grow in order for us to bring it back. We have to bring people to the community. We have to bring businesses to the community. We have to bring housing developments to the community. And I already have that in plan. That's part of my plan. I've been working on it, and I'm ready to execute it. And at the end of the day, when we all come together and sit down, I'm ready to work with everyone, and I know that we can get this done. I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you, Ms. McDonald. We will now hear from Mr. Turner, no relationship to me.
Thank you, and good evening to everyone. My name is Maurice Turner. I am a write-in candidate for mayor of the city of Highland Park. I'm a proud resident here of the city, and I truly love our people here, our passion, and the bright future that we have ahead of us. Currently, I am CEO and president of Rehab Highland Park, a dedicated nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization here in the city of Highland Park, serving Highland Parkers with revitalization efforts, in addition to preservation work, and also helping our struggling homeowners with repairs, upkeep, and services on their homes. I came here working. I do not have time to quit working because there is a lot to do here in the city of Highland Park. My commitment here to the city is to put the people first. They are the most valuable asset of our community, and we must work and ensure that our city is functioning in a proper order, that we have a culture here that is inviting, welcoming, and productive, and that we continue our efforts to create a platform for a brighter future for Highland Park. I am a Michigan State graduate, and I have been working 15 years in the financial industry, in addition to the fact that I also have been working for several years in marketing and advertising in an administrative role in that same company, which is Green Path Financial Wellness, which is one of the largest financial nonprofits in Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Now, Ms. McDade will ask the next question, starting with Mr. Hunley.
All right, Mr. Hunley, Highland Park has a significant debt responsibilities. Debt cripples and can even destroy a city. What will you do to help eliminate the debt, including the recent Great Lakes Water Authority bill?
That's a great question. Because first of all, we have to make sure we have the revenue in the community and for the city to function to even pay a bill with such magnitude on it. It's a great big bill, need to be paid, should have been paid and addressed a long time ago, but unfortunately it's on us now. So we have to see where we can get the money from exactly. So my idea of getting the revenue is to have people come into this community that want to help this community, that bring in prosperity back to the community, and also we can rise our horizon. We want to make sure that we go in a direction, in a positive direction for the community. We want to make sure that we can get people that want to come in and bring jobs, businesses, and that we can tax and that we can tag on to bring the revenue down because we can take care of the bills and etc.
Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, Ms. McDade. First, let me speak on the debt of GLEWA. There is no debt from GLEWA at this time. The Supreme Court has not ruled, and we do not have a debt of $54 million at this time. Once there is a ruling in the courts, then we will have a debt if it doesn't go in our favor. Now, let me talk about if it doesn't go in our favor. What I see doing, first of all, we have an amnesty program right now. And that amnesty program, I want everyone to take advantage of. At this time, you can pay 50% of the bill that you have past due, and that wipes out the rest of your debt. So we want to start that. We want to make sure that everyone is taking advantage of that. After that, the goal is to make sure that we bring enough revenue into this city. And how do we bring revenue? First of all, we have to have businesses. We have to build not just the large businesses, but we need small businesses as well. We know that they are the backbone of any city. Second, we also have to have people. We need housing. We need a very good housing stock, whereas property taxes are being paid, water bills are being paid, and we can continue to pay down this debt. We do not want anyone to have to carry the burden of this large debt. So my goal is to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm not saying that I'm the end all to be all, but I'm saying I will work very hard to make sure that our citizens stay whole and do not have to deal with the burden of this debt. We have a way to do that, and my plan is to make sure that we can continue to move forward and to continue to bring in enough revenue to cover those debts.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
Yes, I'm always going to put the Highland Parkers first. This is not a burden that the citizens of our city should be facing or even worried about. This is a matter of our leadership. This is a matter of our departments and our functioning government working together to create strategies, to form the proper procedures and processes so that we can understand what the discrepancy is. There is a discrepancy of some sort, and we wouldn't be in this position for nearly 10 years trying to deal with this water crisis and debt if there was not a discrepancy. So we must figure out and sit down at the table with the experts, the people who are willing to do right by our city, who can give us the information. We work with the lawyers and that team to understand what the proper next steps are and ensure that we have the proper plan to fight this battle. Because without a strategy, without the hard work, without some transparency, in addition to transparency with our people and our community, this is going to plague us for a long time. And so we need to really come up with a plan, but we have to have the proper facts in order to do that. And we have to bring along the people. I've been working to build the proper relationships, the proper allyships, the proper partnerships that will lead us to that destination. And this is just a result of many issues in this city that have not been resolved because of the lack of transparency, commitment, and hard work that's needed.
Awesome. Mr.
All right.
Clyburn.
Thank you. Can you please repeat the question?
Sure. Highland Park has significant debt responsibilities. Debt cripples and can even destroy a city. What will you do to help eliminate the debt, including the recent Great Lakes Water Authority bill?
Thank you for that question. Continue to fight. We don't owe a debt. We have a 1996 contract with Detroit, and it states that we have fixed water rates. In 2013, when Gleewood took over, they went to the courts to try to cancel the contracts. The court told them no. If you want to renegotiate the water rates, you go to the city. They never paid us the proper respect to come to the city to try to renegotiate a contract. Instead, they went straight to the courts. They went straight to the courts to try to push us out, take our city. This is about a takeover. This is about them wanting our water resource in our city. It's racial, it's racial injustice and inequality at its finest. And we have a contract with these people. No. So we won the case in 21 because the judge recognized we have a fixed rate for the water and sewage. In 2013, Gleewood took over. They said, no, we want Highland Park to pay this. The judge said, absolutely not. Macomb County has a fixed rate contract for 30 years. Theirs ain't been touched. So this is about fighting. This is about standing strong. This is about moving forward and understanding that we have to stand strong and not believe what's going on this media slander campaign. That's all this is. This is about taking our resource and taking our land. So we stand strong and we fight this. And we get to the revenue when we start building and moving people in and putting our tax roll back, where it needs to be, because the city can't operate without a tax base. And since Chrysler left, it's been all downhill. That's where we lost our tax base. But we have a lot of opportunity. We have a lot of land. We have a lot of good people ready to come to the table. So what I plan to do is fight.
Awesome. Well, we thank you all. Great job. We thank you so much. We're going to go to question number 3, and I'll have Ms. Turner read that question.
So home ownership is very important to the economic development of the city, and Highland Park's home ownership rate is very low. None of the vacant land in our neighborhoods has been developed with new housing for home ownership since the project on Midland Street, which was completed 8 years ago. Residents have had a difficult time in purchasing city-owned property. Our downtown and our TIFA, Tax Increment Financing Authority District, has not been developed like downtown Detroit. What will you do to correct this problem? And we start with Ms. McDonald.
That's a great question. The first thing to do, I already have a plan. I already have a map, a strategy map. My map has already been circled out for land for development. There's quite a bit of land in Highland Park that needs to be developed. I have a plan ready to go to make sure that those places are utilized for housing, for development, community and economic development, businesses, and anything else that fits our community. We have to continue to develop the land that we have. We own half of our land, and owning your own land does not bring revenue. So at this point, I have a map. My map is up on the wall at home. It's circled in the areas of where we know that there's a lot of blight and vacancies. And that has to be a plan that's continual. As far as TIFA, the TIFA tax authority, we have to make sure that they are moving forward in developing Woodward Avenue and the section that is off. And for those that don't know, TIFA runs from East Grand Davison to right but before the Viaduct in Highland Park. And that area, you're correct, has not been developed in a while. But there are people already starting. I met someone the other day who has already started developing a project right on Woodward between Victor and I want to say Cottage Grove. So it's starting. It's happening. We just got to be able to have the right person in place in the mayor's office to allow people to come in and continue to develop.
Thank you, Ms. McDonald. Mr. Turner?
Yes, thank you. There's two parts to this. First, we also need to pay attention to our current homeowners who are struggling. There are a lot of people who are in need to keep them here in this city, to give them the quality of life that they really deserve. And so we need to develop, my plan is really to develop a grant program and grant writing team and task force that will assist with creating grant opportunities and funding for those people who are struggling currently to keep them in their home safe and secure. And I've already been working on those things through my nonprofit, Rehab Highland Park, assisting where the need is currently. On the other end of that, there is the need for new housing. That includes single family, multifamily, and multi-use buildings. We do have a lot of land, but we have to be strategic. We cannot just throw things on the wall and hope they stick there. We have to have a strategy that incorporates not only the people, but also our community and economic development director, our and team, in addition to zoning committee and our engineering department. We have to work together to get this done. I do not have all the exact answers. This is why we need to rebuild and restructure our government here in order for it to work for our community and the people, and so we can have a better Highland Park. That's how you get things done. That is how we will rebuild. That is how we'll create the population that growth that we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Clyburn?
All right, thank you. So the question one more time.
The question is, home ownership is very important.
Okay.
Our home ownership rate is very low in Highland Park. None of the vacant land in our neighborhoods has been developed with new housing for home ownership since the project on Midland Street, which was completed 8 years ago. Residents have had a difficult time in purchasing city-owned property. Our downtown and Tifa district has not been developed like downtown Detroit. What will you do to correct this problem?
All right, thank you so much. So I've spoken to and I have relationships with several financial institutions that's ready to come in and do homeowner repairs and do first-time home buyer programs as we start to develop. But let's back up. We need to vet our commissions and our boards. We have a TIFA board, which is also now our Brownfield Authority. We have a planning commission, we have a zoning board of authority, and we have a CED department that needs to all be fully functioning. We get those departments together internally, get our processes back together, and I've already reached out and talked to Wayne County Exec Warren Evans and his development team, and a third of our land is publicly owned, but it's owned between the city, state, and county. So we have to work together with a plan and sit down with the county and the state with the input of the residents and the businesses to move it forward. That's how I plan on doing it. I plan on first getting the internal government operations together. After we get that together and get our commissions and boards and committees together, then we sit down with the county, the state. We look at the land. We have developers identified. We have developers here. We have developers ready to go, and we pull the trigger. There's money and resources for the TIFA. By us having a Brownfield Authority now, that's huge because we get to collect and not the other entities. So this all encourages positive development and growth for the city of Highland Park. So that would be my plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clyburn. Mr. Hunley.
Yes. First of all, I want to make sure the people are happy in the community, and that's what they begging for so bad. They can't even buy the vacant lot next to their home. When they go out to the city right now, they can't even get any help. And this has got to stop. Our plan is this, simple. We're going to make it more easier for the residents of the city of Highland Park. We're going to make sure that we have a plan put in place for them because they can get that property next door to them and they can develop it and make sure they can put growth on it. You got communities right now that come in the city of Highland Park that's not even a part of Highland Park and able to get property, and that this community that we live in right now, the people, they can't even get the property. That's got to stop in this community. That's number one. Projected. I'm making sure that the city citizens is our first concern and would be our main concern because it would be no more tolerating that. First of all, you shouldn't have a hard time getting any property in the city of Highland Park if you live right there in the community. And I'm going to put a team together to make sure that we make this available for the citizens, especially the seniors that's having so much trouble, that's begging for help, and nobody's reaching out and even trying to give them this help. I'm going to give you that help. You vote for me, I'll make sure it's going to be my concern, and that's my first priority in office. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunley. Ms. McDade will ask the next question.
Okay, and this time we'll start with Mr. Turner. Residents want better and more city services in Highland Park, such as eliminating blight, cleaning up trash, cutting vacant lots, police patrols in neighborhoods. How will you help the city provide better city services?
Yes, thank you, Kim. This is a great question, and I'm glad that I got it first. Well, the good thing is that I've already been doing this work, providing the services, some of these services that our residents are in desperate need of. Far too long, for many decades, the residents here have been getting less than what they really deserve. And so we have to come to the table. We have to give them the opportunity not to just talk, but to actually see in action what our government and our leaders here in the city can do to help them. And so in bringing the services and further spreading that out into our community, we have to first improve our communications. Most people don't know what is going on in the city at all. Most people have no clue what opportunities that are available to assist them if there are those programs available. So first, we need to improve our communications. Secondly, we need to create a platform where our departments can come together and feel supported, and that is putting the right people in the right places at the right time, and the time is now. So this is really about our leadership. The people shouldn't have to be worried about anything. Our government should be doing the work. Our government should be doing the communications. Our government should be aligned in the proper way, both administrative and also legislative, to ensure that the people of Highland Park get what they deserve. The hardworking taxpayers here pay their taxes, and they deserve to have the services and amenities that are right for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clyburn.
All right, thank you so much for this question. So again, I mentioned a third of the city is owned by public entities, which is the state, county, and the city. What needs to happen early in the year is the three of us entities getting together and mapping out our plan on how we're going to cut and maintain our areas. You know, when you ride down a block to see one lot cut, that's a county lot. We know that because the county has a schedule. So we need to sit down and we need to look at better ways of maintaining our city properties. And it can't be internal. It's something that needs to be contracted out right now because that's the best plan of action. The county contract theirs out, the state contract theirs out. So we need to get together and create opportunities for small lawn care companies to take advantage of this situation. So if we split the city up in sections where they could be maintained by local people that's vetted, and we have businesses that'll help them get vetted, bonded, insured, where they can maintain properties with the county and the state. So when you go out, you won't see one lot cut and the others not cut. That's number one. We know it's a revenue issue. So as far as police, it's going to be difficult to beef that up right away, but there are ways of doing it. There's agencies that can come in and support the police department with mental health, with substance abuse, because a lot of our calls go to mental health and substance abuse. So there are smaller communities that work with agencies that show up on the set to assist the police, and those situations could be handled a lot better than the police coming and the same circle and the same cycle happens. So we need to reach out and allow these agencies to come in, help support us to move everything forward. As your write-in candidate and mayor of the city, I'll be sure to make that happen.
Thank you. Mr. Hunley.
Yes, the policing, as far as that is concerned, I had a gentleman call me yesterday, and his son got shot, and another guy got shot and killed yesterday right here on Amherst and 3rd. And unfortunately, Highland Park is not even policing their own police department because it's subbed out to basically MSP, which is Michigan State Police. So we're going to have to do something to make sure that we can put a damper to all this and control it, because it's like Carlton said, I'm going to piggyback off one thing he did say, is mental health. You got to get people in here because you got a lot of mental people walking around that really need that kind of attention. And we got to make sure somebody specialized in that field to bring them in to make sure we can help people instead of hurt people. Our job is to help the community, not to hurt them. And we have to have faster police response because we 2.9 miles. No way in the world we should have 4 or 8 killings a year in the city of Highland Park. You know, that's just unheard of in a small community. So we got to make sure we uplift our department and put the right people in the right positions and make sure that we mandate and proceed to go overboard if we have to make sure this is done properly in our community. Because I want to go to sleep at night and I want to make sure we wake up in my same community. I don't want to wake up in the morning and something going on and we can't do nothing about it. So we need to make sure that we put control back into our hands in the city of Highland Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McDonald.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Residents want better and more city services in Highland Park, such as eliminating blight, cleaning up trash, cutting vacant lots, police patrols in neighborhoods. How will you help the city provide better city services?
Okay, thank you. First, that's a 3-parter for me. There's 3 things that I would do. Let's talk about the blight. We have formed organizations that have come together and have worked on blight over the years. I have been doing this for 10 years. We have been cleaning ourselves, but that's not the position of the citizens. They want to help. So what we need is someone who is a leader in that department who can make sure that when we're having cleanups or when we're out in the city and asking people to help, that they're available and ready to work. Partnerships are important. making sure that we have the partnerships between our Wayne County and our state government. That's a fact. In order to get funds that we need to make sure that we continue to bring those items that we need to clean up, or having the Act 51's money, in order to make sure that some of the things like the roads or whatever are taken care of and maintained, we have to have the grant process. We have to have monies that will come into the city and help us. Our department, our DPW department is very small, so we do have to contract out some of the stuff. And we've been working on that since I've been back on the council, of trying to get our properties contracted out, cuttings, and snow shoveling. We also have to make sure that, I'm going to skip real quick because I'm about to be cut off. Our police department has a police commission, and the mayor, the police commission should be working together and looking for people to come to our department and help with some of these things. We have to start going outside of the box, using outside of the box activities, using outside of the box means, and working together to make sure that our police are doing a community, not only patrolling, but community policing.
Thank you so much. Great job, everybody. Ms. Turner, will you take number 5?
Whose turn is it?
Okay.
Back to Mr. Clyburn. Okay. This is an open-ended question. What do you view as the most important problem our city is facing, and how do you plan to solve it?
Revenue. Revenue is number one, and it's equal to the water situation. Okay, we have to. That's the end all be all is the water situation. GLEWA is not playing fair. So that's, we could talk a lot, but without us taking care of that and fighting them and making sure they, get our own resource back, is going to be continuing. So revenue. That means taking our land, getting it developed, bringing in businesses. That means working with the business community that's already there, because they have resources, and they want to give in. They want to help the city. I've met with the business leaders. I met with the people in Oakland Park. I know the developers that's coming in. They want to see the city successful. So we have to sit down with these are Fortune 500 companies, so they know how to develop. So we need to be sitting down with them and seeing how we can work together to bring more revenue and more business to the city, as well as develop the land that we have, so we get our property back on the tax roll and out of the hands of public entities. Because again, there's no tax base. Cities run and operate on tax base, and we also need to improve our grants. Right now, Highland Park qualifies for every grant there is, and we're not taking advantage of it. And we have to take more advantage of the grant situation, because we need revenue, and we can supplement a lot of the services, a lot of the different needs and resources that we need as a community can be covered through grants, while we're building our community and working with the businesses, because they have resources, they have experts that can help us develop our land and develop our city, and they're already here invested. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clyburn. Mr. Hunley,
Yes.
same question.
I would say water would be one of the main problems that we have in the community, because while water development and it just we don't want to end up in the city like previously, like Flint have. We want to make sure our community have an environment that they can deal with every day on an everyday basis. We want everyday people to understand the environment. Every day, like for example, I live in the city of Highland Park, but I don't drink the water. Why I can't drink the water? Because I get bottled water, because I'm afraid to drink the water. I shouldn't be afraid to drink the water if I live in this community. I'm paying what we need to pay, and we still not getting it done. So we got to get some results as far as drinking the water and etc. Because I don't know everybody I go in the house in Highland Park, everybody got bottled water. So we have to change all that. We got to help the community get better. We got to help the environment. We got to help the property value. We got to help the community and etc. We really do.
Thank you, Mr. Hunley. Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. Um, for me, the most important thing right now is making sure that our city is clean and we bring in revenue. And I know that's two. And the reason I had to give two is because they go hand in hand. We can't clean up our city without revenue. So revenue for the city is the most important thing. It helps with everything. It helps with our water situation. It helps with making sure that our city is clean and having the right people in place to keep it that way. And so in my administration, again, we're going to be making sure that we're looking for those things that will help us increase our revenue, which includes community and economic development, which is very important, grants, which is very important, and sometimes we even have to, and we hate to say this word, but we sometimes we have to do it, is loans that comes to the city. We can't avoid it. There's things right now, our water infrastructure is being replaced, and yes, we've had to take out some loans to get it done. Now we're looking for grants. Council President is correct. We are not taking advantage of those things that we have right here in our possession. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib made sure that she let us know. No one is reaching out. No one in the administration is reaching out for those things, for those grants. Also, Martha Scott has let us know that there's grants available. So we have to take advantage of those. The last thing is, like I said, cleanliness is next to godliness. No one wants to come into a city where everything is blighted and dirty. So we have to clean this city up. And the best way to do that is to continue to grow it and bring in developments that work for every citizen in this city. Not just those chosen people, but everyone. I want to work for everyone.
Thank you, Ms. McDonald. Mr. Turner?
Yes, thank you again. I agree with all of them. But the number one thing that we are missing is a functioning government, an administration, and a council that is not only working together, but is willing to go fight and do the hard work that we need in this community and in the city, not just for our youth, but for anyone in between our youth and our seniors. We constantly are seeing the same issues year after year, day after day, council meeting after council meeting. None of them ever get a resolution. We never see anything completed and finalized. There are a lot of things hanging on the balance due to the ill leadership that is happening here in the city. And we have to call a thing before we can actually resolve it. And none of the things that the other candidates mentioned will get done if we don't have the right people in the right places doing the right things even when people aren't looking. And so we need to make sure that we have an accountable government, that we have people who are passionate about their jobs, and that they feel they have the support to do their jobs and effectively get the work done. I've been out in this community getting the work done for the people. I don't work for anyone else but the people of Highland Park. And as your mayor, that is what I'll do. That is my commitment, and you can see it in my actions and not just in my words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. McDade will ask the next question.
Okay, we're starting with Mr. Hunley. Highland Park has a large senior community. Many reside in the senior apartment buildings and get regular communications from the city. How would you improve communications, resources, and events to seniors and all other residents who are homeowners or renters in single-family homes?
Thank you. That's a great question. Great. First of all, the seniors are the backbone of the city of Highland Park. So let's not get no mistake. The seniors are very important in our community, and they have been for years. We had to establish a rapport with the senior citizens on a daily basis, not just once in a while, but on a daily basis. I will put a team in place so we can communicate with them every day as much as possible and finding out what do they need in the community, what is going on, and what do they want. And we got to reach out to the senior citizens on a daily basis, not once in a while, but all the time. We got to go out and we have to, like we have a party, like once in a while, giving them something that they can enjoy. Go out to an event. We have no public restaurant for them to go in our community right here in the city of Highland Park for them to enjoy they prestige and what they grow and build up to. We used to be a beautiful city in the community of Highland Park back in the years when Hamilton was beautiful. We had restaurants, we had restaurants, we had everything that you can think of. We was a city at that time because we had a Secretary of State, we had a banks, we had restaurants, everything you can think of at that particular time. We want to make sure we bring that back to the senior citizens. We want to make sure anything the senior citizens should want, we should reach out and help them the best we can.
Thank you. Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, Ms. McDade. First, I already have a team ready to go. That has been one of my issues ever since I became the City Council President Pro Tem back in 2015. Although the seniors in the buildings are very, very important, the people on the street never get communications. They know nothing about what's going on. So I already have a team in place that's ready to create a newsletter, a quarterly newsletter that will go to every single door. Yes, the internet is important. Yes, computers are important, but most of the people in the senior the senior citizens or other people do not have the technology or know how to use it. It's important that we train them. It's important that they understand what's going on in this community. And the best way to do that is door to door. I've been knocking on doors for now since 2011. And most people are saying, I want to know what's going on. I don't get anything. My auntie is 91 years old. 91 years old, living on Fourm Park. Has never received but one invitation, and that was from our former mayor, DeAndre Wyndham, and for his red carpet event. She's never known anything about anything going on up at the rec center because she's never received anything at her door. So my goal is to make sure that these communications get out on a regular basis. I have someone lined up who is going to take care of that, and I have people ready to go and put it out on the doors. It's just that simple. Communication is the most important thing in this city right now. People need to know exactly what's going on, and in order to do that, we have to be in their face at all times, providing what they need. And that's my goal. I do plan on making sure that not only the seniors, but everyone, and my plan is from baby to the grave. Everyone is invited, everyone is included, and everybody knows what's going on.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
Yes, thank you again. I have been in their faces. I've talked to the seniors. My first, one of my closest inspirations was a senior here that lived on my street on Easton Street, Miss Dorothy Eady. She told me about the Highland Park that she used to remember, the tree-lined streets, the cooperation, not just in the community, but with the community and the government with the community. Not just people saying things, but actually doing them. Not just putting out these nice little, these nice statements, but actually working hard for the people, and that includes our 65 and older. We have a population here that is almost 10 times higher than the national average of seniors here living in the city of Highland Park. So that actually means that we do need to be prioritizing them. And the common theme that I hear when I go to any senior facility and speak with them, or even the seniors that are aging in place, they want a seat at the table. They want to be heard, and not just heard, but they want their government and their elected officials and their appointed officials to do the work that they are governed to do. We must work for the people and not the other way around. Our seniors need programs. As I mentioned, we need grant writing so we can get these funds in here, get them the transportation, get them the events and opportunities so they can get out of these senior buildings and enjoy life. And that's my commitment to the seniors of Highland Park.
Thank you. Mr. Clyburn?
All right, thank you for that question. So the seniors are my babies, and it's something that I've been building with the seniors for a very long time. A few years back, a real bright individual got with AARP on the age-friendly community for seniors, and it slipped. So we need to make sure we're engaging DAAA, engaging the AARP, and all these organizations that are ready to come in and help our seniors. I've been to senior events where Highland Park was underrepresented. My plan is to do a senior coordinator by committee. That means right now I have captains in every building that I talk to, that I engage with. We bring them in, and we also make sure that we have somebody bringing in all the seniors that's living at home. I've been doing birthday cards to the seniors since 2019. Every month, a senior will get a birthday card just to let them know that, hey, somebody's thinking about you. It has coupons with, local businesses so they can go see what's going on in the community. Mother's Day, I follow up, making sure we're going door to door and in the senior buildings, let them know, hey, you are loved. My grandmother and great grandmother moved here in the 50s. The seniors are real to me. I mean, that's where I got my training from. To serve was from a senior. So as mayor, I plan on really ramping it up, and we got to hold them buildings accountable. That means in our committee, we have a building department, we have the police, a representative from the police. So we make sure that these senior buildings are treating our seniors like people and not prisoners. Because right now it's a huge problem. It's disgusting, and as your mayor, I will end that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, you have the next question. I know the hour is
The hour
coming to a
is
close.
drawing near to the finish. We want to give you, probably now is the time to give you one last opportunity to say in 1 minute this time, because we do have some other information to share. Why are you the best candidate for mayor? And what is your contact information? So if people want to follow up with you, ask questions, they can do that.
We start with Ms. McDonald, I think.
We start with Ms. McDonald.
Thank you. My name is Glenda McDonald. I'm on the city council at this time. I am running for mayor because I have the passion, the know-how, and the drive to keep this city alive, and that's what we're fighting for right now. We're fighting for our life in Highland Park, and I want that life to be abundant and more powerful than anybody has ever experienced. Now, how do I do that? By making sure that I am in the trenches daily, making sure everybody is taken care of, not just from just certain people, but everybody in this city deserves the quality of life that we know Highland Park can give them. You can reach me at gmcdonald for mayor at gmail.com, or you can call me at 313-329-0416.
Mr. Turner?
Yes, thank you. And thank you to the host for putting this on, and those that are behind the scenes. My grandparents would always say this statement: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in the city of Highland Park, that is not the case. It is broken. It's been broken for a while, and it's time for us to put our words to actions, to put the focus on the community, the people, the taxpayers. I don't want our taxpayers to continue to pay more and they get less. The time is now for change. The time is now for fresh leadership. The time is now for us to get up and fight as a community, as a government, and a people together to ensure that our legacy here stays strong and that we create a better Highland Park together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
All right.
Clyburn.
Yep, thank you. I'm going to leave with my contact information. I can be reached at 313-455-7752. Also at www.clyburnforhpmayor.com. It's an interactive website. Please reach out. I'm the best candidate for the position because I'm the most experienced, skilled, I have the most resources, the most strength, endurance, and courage to take us through this next challenge and this battle that we're facing with GLEWA and blight and poverty. So write me in, Carlton Clyburn. All you need is intent and likeness to name, and I could be your next mayor, and I can lead us to this next level and move the city forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clyburn. Mr. Hunley?
Yes. My name is Emmanuel Hunley. What I say, my phone number is 248-820-0446. And also my email is emmanuelhuntley@gmail.com. I remember this city a long time ago. My father came to this community back in 1960. And I remember it's just like it was yesterday. It was beautiful back then. We need to bring back prosperity back to this community, to the city. My father lived here, my father worked here, and my father died here at Detroit Occupied Hospital, right there on Glendale in the city of Highland Park. We need to bring back prosperity back to the city. I'm telling you, I'm the right candidate for the job. I'll get the job done for you, but I don't want to work for you. I want to be with you. We work it together. Your choice, your vote. Vote for me, Emmanuel Huntley, and I'll try to make sure I do my very best what I say I'm going to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our candidates. We certainly appreciate you discussing these issues, very important issues for the city of Highland Park. We want to thank Mr. R.J. Watkins and the whole team at WHPR, and also DDON, Defending Democracy Action Working Network, for funding this event. And I want to have the last words given by our wonderful co-moderator, Ms. Kimberly McDade, who's going to tell us about just a couple of resources that are available so that we can get out the vote in Highland Park.
Absolutely. Thank you to our candidates and to all who are out there tuning in today. Thank you, Ms. Turner. Our election is going to be November the 8th, and we have a very important election here in Highland Park and also the state of Michigan. Now, you can't vote unless you register. You can only register now by going to your city clerk's office. Here in Highland Park, our city clerk's office is located at 12050 Woodward in Highland Park. Absentee ballots. You can only pick up an absentee ballot at this time, and you only can do it until November the 4th. Once you get your absentee ballot, you have to bring it to the city clerk's office. You can drop it in the drop box or take it directly inside City Hall. And it can be turned in by November the 8th, Election Day. If you are registering to vote, you can register to vote from now all the way through Election Day, but you do have to go to your city clerk's office. For more information about your sample ballot, if you're registered, or a list of the candidates, you can go to highlandparkmi.gov for all that information. The city clerk's phone number is 313-252-0050, and that's extension 5. That's 313-252-0050, extension 5, for more information about the Highland Park City Clerk. If you live in the state of Michigan, you can also contact michigan.gov/SOS to find out any voter information. That's for the state of Michigan. Very important election. Your vote is your voice. If you have problems at the poll, 1-866-OUR-VOTE. 1-866-OUR-VOTE. If you have problems at the poll, that's 1-866-687-8683. Again, we want to say thank you to DDON, also BASE, and also WHPR for your hospitality in serving this program. Thank you.
Go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote. Gotta vote.